Musical theory is often presented as a set of rules that have to be completely and totally observed, like some sort of dogmas. But truthfully, in music, contrary to popular belief, we could say, everything is born from practical use. All these rules, all this so called theory that we often have to study by heart without really understanding the reasons behind this study, this theory is often, or rather, it's always born from the practical needs of the players, because music, as we've said a lot of times, is something quite practical actually. It's an art, of course, but it's also an art tied to practicality, to playing and composing, which are both practical activities. So I want to try, in all these theory lessons, to help you understand why some rules are born, how they were born, because these rules weren't born casually, but rather out of the need to explain music, following some situations in which the scholars have found themselves in the space of centuries, to which they have tried to remedy or have tried to find a solution, some sort of way to explain everything. All these solutions have actually been coded as rules that we nowadays study as theory, musical theory. So today, I want to talk about and introduce the alterations. But as I said earlier, I don't want to give you a set of rules. I actually want you to understand how the concept of alterations is born. The concept of alteration in music is born from a practical need. Or better, if we want to make the scope of our learning larger, the concept is born from two necessities that we will study and explore, and will let you understand why the need to use alterations was born. And it will also let you understand the difference, based on these two needs, between the types of alteration in existence in today's musical theory. So let's hypothetically take the first case. We have already mentioned two practical necessities regarding alterations. Let's talk about the first one right now. So let's imagine we only have the white keys in use for the time being, which means we have our so-called C major scale. We have the C major scale, which is made up of the usual notes. First degree is C, then D, E, F, G, A, B, and so on. So we have these 7 degrees, and we can only use these degrees because they are actually inside, we could say, the C major scale. And we can only, in theory, use these 7 degrees. If we're in the C major tonality, we can use them all in theory, since the C major scale is made of 7 degrees, and these degrees each correspond to a note on the white key. We can, or we could, in theory, only use these 7 notes if we're playing in that particular tonality. Let's now imagine that we actually want to make this possibility more ample, we could say. Let's imagine we're on the 5th degree of C major, the G note, and we want to go towards a higher note. We want to go higher. In C major's case, if we actually wanted to go to a higher note, we would have to go from the G to the A, passing from the 5th to the 6th degree. And as you very well know, between the 5th and the 6th degrees, there is a whole tone interval. But we want to make our array of musical possibilities larger, if we can. Yes, we do want to go to a higher note, but we don't want to go to a note that is a whole tone higher, a whole tone away from our original note, which means we only want to go half tone higher, 1/2 tone higher. This is our current musical necessity we are studying. But how can we do this? We know that in C major, the 5th degree is G, and the 6th degree is A. But we want to go to a higher half tone than G. But how can we actually do that while actually staying inside the 5th degree, by using G. How can we call this note that is a half tone higher from this G? So going to this other note, which is a half tone higher. What is the name we should give to this note? How should we play it? So we have to introduce a symbol, which is called the sharp, that when laced in front of the same note, means that the note is a half tone higher than the note itself.